You've been sitting for a couple months. Good job, Brad. You decided to be a podcaster. You're like, hey, let me ask more questions here. And you popped in.
Yeah, something like that.
So I say, not as I do.
Are we getting into it? I think it's interesting, actually.
Super interesting. Super interesting.
So
Sam, of course, we're not in the industry. Sam Altman appeared on the fabulous DG2 podcast last Friday, and it got a little frisky when our fifth bestie here asked what I thought was a completely legitimate mundane question. Hey, you're making
It's actually a softball question.
it was an underhanded pitch.
The way that it was asked, you did a very reasonable job asking a good question in a very fair
So
way.
this show is a clip here, and then I want to go behind the talk with you, Brad.
So I think the single biggest question I've heard all week and hanging over the market is how can a company with $13 billion in revenues make $1.4 trillion of spending commitments? You know, and you've heard the criticism.
We're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, you want to sell shares, I'll find you a buyer. Just enough. Like, you know, people are, I think there's a lot of people who would love to buy shares. I don't know.
Including myself.
Who talk a lot like breathless concern about our future or whatever, that we feel to buy shares. So I think we could sell your shares and anybody else's to some of the people who are making the most money about this very quickly. We do plan for revenue to grow. See, we are taking forward that it's going to continue to grow. There are not many times that I want to be a company, but ones where I'm just feeling is when the people are writing these ridiculous open eyes about business and whatever. I would love to tell them to short the stock. I would love to see them on that.
So Brad, you asked it, but you know, from what I understand, a pretty mundane question. You said it very nicely. I guess we give Sam a little bit of grace. I don't know if he was being a little cheeky or maybe he's tired of answering the question, but the internet took this and ran with it in a very viral way that he was angry and he was hostile. How did you take it? And
That's the interesting thing, right? I mean, listen, we bust each other's shots all the time. We get feisty with one another. Sometimes it runs amok. Like, we don't know somebody's being serious or not serious. And you know, Sam and I had a good laugh after. You know, I think Sam was feisty, but I think he also intended it as a joke. He knows that I don't want to sell my shares. He knows that I like to buy more shares in the company, etc. But I think the reason that it went so viral is because it is a super important question. People are really nervous. They're wondering, are we walking into an AI bubble? Like, how can these huge numbers, how can you be talking about 1.4 trillion in spending when you know have kind of gap revenue that's been reported $13 billion this year? So I was a little disappointed, and I tweeted about this afterwards. The kind of feistiness got in the way of the answer. But if you listen to his words during the rest of the segment, he basically said, listen, we think we're going to have $100 billion in revenues over the course of the next couple of years. And, you know, Jake, I sent the team a chart that basically just shows the information forecast for what OpenAI and Anthropic's revenues are going to be over the course of the next couple of years. And like the information is reporting that their internal numbers are both over 100. You know,
this is the information reporting on leaked internal numbers, or the information is taking a guess.
no, I think this is on leaked internal numbers according to the information. And so, you know, I think Sam's in his head saying, I believe, and he says multiple times on the pod, we're going to have revenues in excess of $100 billion. And the $1.4 trillion is super important to remember. This is over a period of 5 or 6 years. I estimate about half of that spending is going to be borne by the partners. So now we're talking $700 billion in spending. Spread that over 5 or 6 years. In the out years, you're probably talking about $150 billion of capex to OpenAI. So he's probably, you know, sitting there saying that, and he said, we're going to have over $100 billion revenue. So we have $150 billion revenue, $150 billion capex. Now it begins to pencil out a little bit more. But importantly, he said, and if we don't have those revenues, we've got to match our revenues to our expenses, right? I think they would just recut the deals in order to make those expenses doable for the company.
This is an important point because we don't know, we haven't seen these actual deals, and if they have conditions or outs or they can push out or they can cancel. Maybe, you know, they have, and that will come out against the public filings, but putting all that aside, the market was not happy about this. Microsoft, Nvidia, Oracle, Broadcom, CoreWeave, who all are the partners we're talking about, who are close to, and you see the charts of all the deals Sam's done, Sam's a great deal maker, obviously, they were all down 6 to 20%. So this has, in fact, been a significant correction in terms of the AI boom. So before we get into the CFO's comments, I'd love to hear your general.
I think it's fun to give these guys, but they're totally and completely uncorrelated.
Okay.
Every now and then you have a bad day. I've done thousands of hours on TV. I've had a couple of really bad days. Yeah. I suspect that if Sam had to do it over, he wouldn't have said what he said. And the way he said it, and even if he was joking, he would have practiced a little bit more and just landed it. So what's actually going on? I think right now we are in a period of getting a little risk off and rebalancing. Why? There are two sets of things that are happening. The first set of things is the market is learning to digest all of the capex that has happened, and they're all breathlessly trying to build models that try to predict what the ROI is of that spend. The second part of that is they're trying to figure out how this new spend will actually impact future earnings. And this is less to do with OpenAI, but it has much more to do with the big stalwarts of the next. Google's earnings were phenomenal. Their AI numbers were blazing hot. Facebook's was terrible. Apple is now in this really interesting place where it seems like they're going to cede their AI business to Google and pay them billions of dollars a year, like they get paid billions of dollars a year for search from them. I think that's what's happening. The second part is, as you go into your end, there's just a little bit of vol in the market, and people are like, let me just consolidate, let me book some wins, let me get ready for the new year, let me tax loss harvest, let me do all the things that people used to wait until mid-December. And now they're smart enough to know that mid-December price action is shitty, and so now the price action starts in mid-November. So I wouldn't pin this on Brad and Sam. I just think this is natural market navigation. But to be clear, we are very much getting into a phase of risk off.
Yeah, and this got exacerbated Sachs because on Wednesday, OpenAI decided to be in the news again when their CFO, Sarah Fryer, told the Wall Street Journal she hopes the U.S. government, that's you, Sachs, will backstop financing of its $1.4 trillion in data centers. Here's a direct quote. The backstop, the guarantee that allows the financing to happen. And she said that the federal guarantees would, quote, really drop the cost of finance. Of course it would. And this would allow OpenAI to borrow more money at lower rates from much larger pool of lenders. That went viral, and everybody said, oh my God, it started feeding, I think, the narrative that maybe OpenAI is insolvent. In fact, there's no way for them to pay their bills, which obviously is a little bit ridiculous. And people are trying to correlate this to obviously the dot-com bust and then the great financial crisis. But on Wednesday night, Fryer walked back her comments. I want to clarify my comments. OpenAI is not seeking a government backstop for our infrastructure commitments. I use the word quote backstop, and it might be the point. I was making the point that American strength, technology, building real industrial capacity requires private sector government playing their part. And she also said OpenAI was on pace to generate $13 billion on this one, right? Because he took offense to the $13 billion revenue number and she did that. So we'll see if this will there. But Sachs came over the top and tweeted that there will be no federal bailout. There's plenty of people available to pick up the mantle if OpenAI needed a bailout. We got 5 major frontier model companies: Grok, Claude, Gemini, plenty of them. So Sachs came in, Daddy's home, and you settled it. Daddy came home, everybody has it.
Okay, time for a little breakdown. Comments, questions, YouTube. Okay. Oopsie daisies. Microphone.
There we go. Now we're good. This one stock will surprise everyone. My research suggests it's smart to buy $50 of this before November 12th. This company has $130 million committed from the battery division of Volkswagen. They will in turn give royalty payments back to Volkswagen, similar to how Microsoft and OpenAI's deal started. So the company is QS QuantumScape. They are a battery company, and they are holding up even as the market sells off. It's been a rough week. Battery names are holding up. This one looks awesome. It's not financial advice. The ticker is QS.
Sam Putnam.
This is 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 Sam Putnam.
So this is the Volkswagen collaboration. So QS has a licensing agreement with this division of Volkswagen. The division provides up to $130 million in payments. So QS isn't making money. And then Volkswagen essentially gets the right to license part of their technology and to basically make a bunch of batteries using their platform, which is licensing the technology. So it's a pre-revenue company. So this is a big deal. It's basically having, a massive company allowing you to start up. And are there red flags? Sure. There's going to be sales. That's going to happen. Looks like this was in just a few days ago. But despite all of that, and despite an earnings season that has been a little bit all over the place, Meta down significantly, a couple other stocks, LRN, FI down very significantly, AMSC down an incredible amount. And so with that backdrop, a stock holding up on earnings, particularly as the market has been falling for what looks like 2 weeks now. Today was a stick save. Still, this company just seems completely unbothered. And we've seen how names like EOSE, for example, EOS Energy, when it's unbothered, even as the market goes down, you can get these massive moves. And earnings was a couple days ago. So this is not an earnings reaction. This is the earnings time right here after hours. And a full day later, we're getting this massive buy candle. On admittedly, it looks like the earnings per share is not great, right? So it's all about what's actually happening in the chart, what buyers and sellers are actually doing, rather than the earnings numbers are less important. And the market itself is definitely having an effect, or however you want to look at it, these companies selling off is having an effect on the market. The big companies, right? NVIDIA, AMD, some, pretty much every company except for Apple that's big. So when a company's holding and the market sells off, that's a very big vote of confidence. So QS is the name. SLDP is another battery name that's holding. So you have to think there's a reason for this. And now the question is, where do you get in if you're interested in the stock? So this seems like the time to get in. I mean, if you wait until after the 12th, right? Which is in, that's Wednesday. It might hang around, it might not. It might go by then. Of course, sometimes these don't work at all. I mean, these ideas, this might just fade off. I mean, the market is very, very choppy. But this definitely seems like the time. Serious stick save. A lot of moves down. And if we look back to September, right here, what is this? Like, I don't know, 5 days in a row? This is late August. You can see when there's similar pullbacks that has led to moves up. It's not totally clear what the most similar time is to right now, but we could definitely get green day, some sideways, green day, some sideways, and another green day. So I'm not going to continue to talk about macro per particularly the way I'm talking about it, which sounds really dumb, to be honest, which is just looking at it visually. But you know what? I think most people would agree that this could be an opportunity for a move up, given we've just had 12 days in a row, and there isn't some major news event like tariffs. Now, I'm not saying bet on the market. I'm saying bet on a stock that's gone sideways while the market has gone down. And there are times, just as a little note here, where, let's look sometime in mid-September, I think is a smart time to look at this stock, QXPEV. Just stick with me here. I know I sound like I'm going on a wild goose chase here, but let's look at September 23rd, 24th, 25th, okay, in XPEV, right in here. So here, okay, XPEV went up 3 days in a row when the market went down 3 days in a row. Okay, that's serious relative strength. Similar to right now, okay, the market went pretty much down for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row at the same time as QS has gone sideways. So what did XPEV do after that? Well, in this case, this is the whole point of this explanation here. Because it was going up while the market was going down, it took a little breather. Okay, XPEV took a breather, went sideways. Whereas QS right now is going sideways while the market is going down. So it hasn't gone up yet. And you can drop any questions in the comments about this, but I believe that is the best way to measure relative strength. I believe QS is the best stock to take advantage of right now. And test me on other stocks, but if a stock goes sideways while the market goes down, that's much better than a stock going up while the market goes down. And I think this is an excellent example, these 3 days in XPEV, where if you bought up here, well, you're going to get stopped out, or worse, get stopped out down here for, a 10% loss, even as the market right in here moved up 2%, okay? Forgetting about Trump and Xi, okay? During this part that was uninfluenced by major news. So that sounds nuanced. I think I'm making it simple. I'm not trying to make it anything but simple. QS is going sideways, market's going down. Battery names are hot. Look no further than SLDP. This is the name. If you like this idea, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. And if you want to work with me in the Discord, head over to stockscommunity.com. Try it out for 7 days for $25.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
All right, let's jump back into Sachs.
Sit down in the kitchen, explain what's going on. Take us through how you think about this as a
Well, this morning my entire feed was full of comments by people, analysts, consumers, business people, and politicians saying that we can't allow OpenAI to have a federal bailout. And I think they were kind of connecting Sam's original comments directly to what Brad talked about, like, hey, do they have the money? Can they justify this? With Fire's comments that they need to backstop, say, hey, this company's not solving a business and demanding a federal bailout. So I think that's kind of how the pieces got put together. And what I said is, look, there's not going to be a federal bailout for AI. Not going to happen. We have 5 major frontier model companies right now, and there are new companies being formed all the time. And if one of them fails, hey, it's going to go out of business, and the other one will replace it. So nobody is talking about a bailout. In fact, I would say that the AI sector is maybe one of the healthiest, most competitive sectors of the entire American economy right now. To the extent that you just love ruthless competition, driving innovation, that's what we have right now. So when one of these companies gets over its skis and ends up going bankrupt, that's just going to fall where they make. And I've never heard anyone serious disputing that fact. Now, I also made the point, which I think is important, that to give OpenAI the benefit of the doubt, I don't think anyone at OpenAI was asking for a bailout. If you watch the video with Sarah Fire, she's clearly searching for the right word to describe what she's trying to say, and then she settles on a word that she never read, backstop. Definitely not the right word. So I don't think they were asking for a bailout. I don't know what she meant by backstop. Doesn't make sense. So I think it's a little bit of a tempest in a teapot. What I think is important, and I think maybe where she was going, is that I do think that we want to make it easier to build infrastructure in this country, and that means making permitting easier, making power generation easier. That's all about regulatory reform. And I think that the goal here is to enable a rapid infrastructure build out without increasing residential rate for electricity, which nobody wants, and that's in the process of creating a little bit of a backlash with local community fear that their electricity rate will go up because no one wants to build a data center. That's the thing we have to combat. But the way that you solve that problem is by making it easier for these AI companies to stand up their own power generation behind the meter, and that requires regulatory reform. That's what the president's call for, is allowing AI companies to do behind the meter. So no one's talking about bailout, nobody's talking about backstop. We are talking about making permitting easier and making it easier to do build out. So build out, not bailout.
Yes.
Should be our motto here.
Build out, bailout. Now, there was a little bit of sort of reading the tea leaves. There have been times when loans were given to incentivize the industry. So I just want to be clear, there's no discussions of like Solyndra, type loans.
No one's discussing any of that with me. So it's not on the radar, I would say, from the government standpoint.
And why would it be if there's so many people trying to pour capital into this, Brad, and there's so many people trying to buy your shares, and a company making $13 billion that's currently valued at $500 billion, which I think is like a 30 or 40 price sales ratio. I mean, this company is fully valued. People are trying to buy shares. So Brad, wrap up here.
Yeah, I think it's really upside dated. Listen, it's a national imperative that we accelerate the build out of AI infrastructure across the country. I said before, the $4 trillion that Jensen Huang has estimated will be built out over the next 5 years
is 10 times the size of the Manhattan Project that was totally federally funded. Okay, and this is all being privately funded. But it wouldn't be possible without the government, Secretary Wright, others, Bergman, etc., clearing out of the way the regulatory hurdles. You heard on the pod, same pod, that power is really the gating issue here. And so it's been amazing to see what the federal government is doing. I think that's what Sarah was trying to get to. That they need to be a public-private partnership. They're going to do their job, raise their money. Backstop was not the right choice of words, but I know when I talked to Sarah this morning about this, are deeply grateful for what the federal government is doing to accelerate the build-out of power and infrastructure. And the federal government can do that without taking risk on their own balance sheet. In fact, we've seen some of the investments they made as a result of the Japanese deal they got on tariffs. They can reinvest those dollars to accelerate some of the nuclear build-out, etc.
By the way, Sam just posted something about 15 minutes ago, and he was pretty authoritative in addressing the three critical questions. The first thing he says is that we meaning OpenAI, will end the year on a $20 billion forward run rate, which means December revenue will be $1.666 billion at least. So we kind of know where the revenue's going from 1.2 to 1.6 over these next few months, which is a pretty staggering growth rate. If they were at 13, they're going to 20. And then he goes and addresses the ultimate fail and what they want from the sponsorship, and he's pretty unequivocal here. So I think this is a I think people are on pins and needles. They're agitated. Some people have had no gains. Other people have had incredible gains. Everybody's agitated. I think we are getting in the risk-off phase for at least 2 or 3 months. We will be back firmly in risk-on in February is my suspicion, but these next few months I think people will overblow every random thing.
But in fairness, $1.4 trillion is a very large number, and this is a number we've never seen one company say they're going to do a build-out.
Okay, but can I take the other side of this? If I was the U.S. government, to the extent that we are doing public-private partnerships, if there's a way for U.S. taxpayers to own a piece of it, that would say great.
So
hold on, so before everybody breathlessly complains, whether you see it or not, there is an enormous sovereign wealth fund that is being built by President Trump, and it is for the benefit of all American taxpayers. And so to the extent the people in government could underwrite an investment structure like they have done in things like MP materials, which is way up, things like Intel, which is way up. These guys are like really good, smart people. Mike Grimes, Dave Shapiro, Steve Feinberg, and his team at DoD. They're cutting hard deals, tough deals. So I don't know if they did do it with OpenAI. I think they probably get the best of it, and the American taxpayer would win. I wouldn't be angry with that.
I think as you see from Sam's tweet, they're not looking for the government to invest. They're not looking for a government bailout. What they are doing, and I think David said it well, is they're pushing us very hard as a matter of national security and economic growth to go faster, to accelerate, to build out infrastructure. To give a little credit where credit is due, right? All of this build-out, right? All of the starting stuff that people were laughing about 18 months ago. Thank God, as an American citizen, that we are running this fast. China has 100 nuclear fission plants under construction, and we were sitting on our hands. So I think if anything, they help jumpstart that conversation and get us moving faster. I think it's good for all of us. Great segue, Brad. Thank you. Jensen told the FT, straight up quote, China is going to win the AI race. His argument is that US state-by-state regulations and power constraints are making it harder for US AI companies, as we've discussed here countless times. Whereas the CCP is obviously making it super affordable to run all those GPUs. NVIDIA put out policy for him, as I have long said, China is nanoseconds behind America now. It's vital that America wins by racing ahead and winning developers worldwide. Obviously,
he's 100% right. He's 100% right. I don't know if you guys saw the Cursor 2.0 launched this week. 1980, use it. It's an incredible product. Guess what they did? They swapped out Anthropic for an open source Chinese model.
Yeah. Do you know what they're using? Is it like Kimi or was it?
I think it's fine. I think they're using it.
To be clear, they're cleansing these Chinese open source models, but they are, I don't know about Cursor, but they're forking them. Yes. And then running them, setting them up themselves.
My point is, we are right now running with one hand tied behind our back. We are going to have to deal with 50 different sets of legislation from state legislators who think they know what AI is. They don't. SAS knows. So there should be a federal framework, and that should be it. And then meanwhile, the Chinese open source models get better and better and better and better. And so we're making technology decisions that tie our wagons to that steel frame. And so Jensen's right. We need to clean this up quickly.
I was a little disappointed to see. I thought it was reasonable for certain politicians, especially Republican ones, to say, let's not be a federal bailout for AI. Great, we all agree, no one's asking for it. But I was a little disappointed to see that some of them were associating a bailout with a single federal framework as opposed to the patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes. Because if Republican governors think that they're the ones who are going to be writing the rules, they're certainly mistaken about this. 25% of the bills going through state legislatures are in 4 states: California, New York, Colorado, and Illinois. Those are the biggest blue states. Those also happen to be the states where these big AI companies are all headquartered, with the one exception of XAI, which is in Texas. But these companies are in California. The blue states have the most market power, and if they end up creating regulations, I just think it's naive to think that the AI companies won't write their models to those regulations of the blue states. I don't think that red states are not going to find themselves exempted from the blue state regulations that are being imposed. And I've talked about on previous podcasts how the blue states are going for here is to reinsert DEI into AI models to achieve ideological capture. And the way they do this, they don't say we're requiring DEI, they say that we're prohibiting algorithmic information, which means that the model is sending out a protected group, and end up with the same end result, which is again ideological capture. I think all Republicans should oppose this. There's only one way to stop it, which is the federal preemption. Otherwise, states will do what they want, and the blue states will basically dominate. Now, I think that part of what's going on here is that Republicans have muscle memory around what happened during the Biden years. And what happened during the Biden years is that the Biden administration pushed for censorship and shadow banning and deplatforming, all that kind of stuff. They were working very closely with big tech companies to push the censorship agenda. The only pushback that Republicans were able to achieve was at the state level. And so you had cases like Biden v. Missouri, where we had Senator Schmidt was on pot talking.
Okay, you know what? I usually like listening to this so much that I can't do it while I'm doing something else. Who knew, right? That was pretty obvious that was not going to be a good idea. So let's just listen to good old Christine at 1x and not completely ruin our brains here. Here we go. See what God's got for us.
Alive, man. Listen, God dropped it on my heart. Fingers can. Because when you are walking in your true, authentic self, there ain't nobody in the world that can copy that. There ain't nobody in the world that can duplicate or replicate that. And so, guys, he sat your boy down. I'm sitting there, no wheels, out of commission. And he was like, remember you were supposed to write that book? He said, remember you were supposed to do this, and this. And guys, I had all that stuff written down. So it wasn't like...
Okay, now we can jump into 27% increase in sales. If you guys have comments, go ahead and drop those on YouTube. Here we go. HCC. Let's see if we can do that here. Warrior Met Coal, US based supplier to the steel industry. And who visited the mine? Interior Secretary visited 2 Warrior Met facilities in Alabama. Okay. Trump's energy stocks will help you retire. I've done my research, and this is not financial advice, but buying every share you can, given your portfolio and your risk management strategy, could be a good idea. The company is Warrior Met Coal. Its ticker is HCC, and Trump's Secretary of the Interior visited 2 Warrior Met Coal mines in Alabama in April of this year as part of Trump's executive order to bring coal back. This company also had over a 25% year-over-year sales increase. So coal is hot right now. Environmentalists are not liking that. Big tech is on the fence. They need it for their compute. Let's jump into the story behind HCC and why it's interesting in the first place, which is, hint, hint, buyers and sellers, volume, the chart. Here we go.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
So this is HCC, Warrior Met Coal. This is the earnings reaction. And if I look at the intradaily, you can see went sideways today as well as yesterday. So this close level is the level to risk off of $80. And on a 5-year chart, you can see that we broke out of this multi-year level. So this is an important time for HCC. This is the level to buy it off of. Not betting on it before earnings, but now that it has already had earnings. And let's talk a little bit about the connection to the Trump administration. So it's kind of the poster child with this Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, visit. This project is in the FAST permitting program. This is the same type of goal that this $500 billion Stargate project is trying to help achieve for AI companies, aka big tech companies, aka the Mag 7, aka 30-40% of the SPY, aka where everyone's 401k is invested in when they use a passive index fund, which is in NVIDIA. So everyone is supporting NVIDIA whether they like it or not. Now, I'll shut up here and talk about this stock here. So this expansion is supposed to be a poster child again of this permitting. So, sounds pretty good. This lease generated almost $50 million in revenue for the coal company. And this is how many acres we're talking about. This is not a small amount of land. It's also included a tax credit in the big, beautiful bill. So part of that is going to benefit Warrior Met Coal. So we'll see if they recognize that or what. I'm not sure necessarily if they get more money if they keep the coal in the US or what, but they're definitely in bed with the administration. Yeah, so here we go. The coal is actually shipped abroad to Asia and South America for steelmaking. So it's kind of an irony that this is the face of the Trump coal push, but be that as it may, they sell substantially all their steelmaking coal production to steel producers outside the U.S., and Trump gets to promote them, and Warrior Met gets that favorable regulatory treatment and financial incentives even when they shift their coal abroad. So this is classic Anthropic Claude. Like, this type of snarky response would definitely not happen with ChatGPT. The only reason I'm using Claude right now anyway is ChatGPT couldn't pull up HCC's recent earnings for some reason, which happened 2 days ago. But anyway, here's what the earnings is. Net income was 37 million compared to 42 million a year ago. So that's down a little bit. Revenues are up a little bit. EBITDA adjusted by whatever, we never really know, is up, but down from a year ago. So up from last quarter. This is the big number, I think, is a record quarterly sales, 27% increase from a year ago. So they're selling a lot more coal, even though they're not actually pocketing that much more money. And with all the, paying for equipment, I presume, or some type of tax situation, they are not, again, pocketing as much money. So there is a reduced cost of sales to mining, so their margin seems good. And then they successfully bid on this coal reserve for 50 million payable over 5 years. So this might be what's cutting into their earnings this quarter. I'm not really like Mr. Earnings. I don't think it really matters. All you really have to do is look at the reaction, because there are times where let's look at some of these other earnings reactions. SLDP, right? Earnings was a loss, and this company is holding. So, you can't always just be stuck in the numbers. That's not like a perfect example. I was kind of thinking sometimes you can see examples that really make no sense at all. This is like a exact match, and the earnings is sort of sideways, whatever. But all this to say, here's maybe one of the craziest ones so far, right? The earnings beat a little bit, but the sell-off was very sudden. And then it took a while for everything to kick in. So all this to say, earnings are a little bit of a crapshoot. I wonder what else I can pull out of a hat here. Amazon earnings was solid. That's a good example. They actually beat on earnings. Microsoft earnings is kind of confusing for sure. Okay, so they had a higher earnings per share than estimated, yet they sold off a ton. Okay, so there's so much going into it. Really, what I like to do is wait for the candle to close. So this candle closed down, whereas with HCC, this candle is closing up. So similar to IBM, or really a better example where it went straight up, GM, wait for the candle to close, get in, and then you have a risk level. Look how perfectly it held that risk level. You're still in. This thing could go up a lot. Who knows? So that's HCC. This is the risk level. That's a little bit about the Trump story as well as the earnings and, their whole business model. If you like these sort of ideas, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. I post that in the YouTube posts once a month for subscribers. And if you want one-on-one help, head to stockscommunity.com. You can try that out for 7 days for $25. I'll see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
All right, let's jump back to our guru. The dude is just so motivated.
I didn't write the vision and make it.
I'm serious
too. What I
too.
was supposed to be doing, but here it was. I was doing everything except what I was called to do. And it wasn't until that sit down moment when he was able to finally get my attention, refocus me, that I got on my dean. And when I got on my dean, guys, I wrote a best-selling book, went on to write 2 best-selling books, went to launch my speaking career, went to first talking about stocks and relationships before it was popular, and then blew up. This is all back in 2014, okay? And the rest has been history, but some people will think you arrived today. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, God is trying to change your life, and the only thing between God and that change is you. God is trying to shift and do something new and different in your life that has never been done before. And I keep telling you, God has a plan to use you to invoke this change. Okay, God is trying to tell you that he has a plan for you that is better than the plan you got for yourself. But before God can change your life, he wants to change you. Before he could do anything in terms of the blessings he had for my life, he had to first change me, change my heart, change my mind, get me on point. So when I show up to these videos every day to pop it with you guys, to drop these nuggets of wisdom, to teach you guys technical analysis and risk management and how to trade and invest and build wealth in the stock market, guys, know that I am walking with the Lord. Know that I have uncommon favor on my life. Know that I ain't just showing up willy-nilly and getting lucky. I always tell everybody, everything that I do, I can replicate and duplicate. I don't have to get lucky one time. I can do this 100 times. And so my point to you is being able to impart in you to be able to do it consistently, repeatedly, time and time again, over and over again, because that's how we reach a level of mastery. Okay, so do me that favor, man. Do me that favor. Make sure you guys are taking the time to hear from God, because I can assure you he's trying to get your attention on some level. Do not let this government shut down. Do not let the loss of food stamps. Do not let all the mayhem in the world that's going on, all the chaos that we are dealing with that's going on. Do not let that make you weary and well doing. Do not let that damper your spirit. Do not let that bring you down. I want you guys to always remember that no storm that comes will last always, and there will never be more on you that you can't handle. So you need to know that, but more importantly, you need to trust that. Okay, so man,
Okay. Let's jump a little breakdown on Baidu. Now I'm using Claude. I'm just going to keep using this until it rate limits me. So here we go. I do want to, all right, talk about the connection to NVIDIA. So this stock is at $126.98. China and Xi's meeting was solid. The United States is going to lower tariffs on Chinese imports. And China will suspend all retaliatory tariffs. Okay. Baidu is developing its own chips, but they were using NVIDIA chips. So they're developing their new AI chip, their own AI chip. Let's remove some pressure from NVIDIA. China's going to terminate its investigation targeting U.S. companies. Semis. Okay. This $126.98 stock has crazy potential. They use NVIDIA GPUs. They use a lot of them to train their AI models. After the recent Trump-Xi meeting in South Korea, tensions are simmering down a little bit. China decided not to continue with its retaliatory tariffs. The U.S. Trump said that the import tariffs will be lowered by 10%. So as a result, there's no rare earth worries right now. All the U.S. rare earth companies just moved down into the ground, basically. The stock prices are not good. This is the stock to invest in my opinion. The stock is Baidu, B-I-D-U. It is listed on the NASDAQ. We can double check that. I believe it's the NASDAQ, not the NYSE. And they are developing their own AI chips, but given they've used a lot of NVIDIA chips in the past, and given also China is not continuing its investigation into American semiconductor manufacturing companies, like NVIDIA's supply chain, this eases up the pressure on NVIDIA a little bit. And of course, if NVIDIA were able to sell their chips back into China, that would be very bullish for NVIDIA. But even just having that tension lowered a little bit, it makes it sound like Baidu is very favorable as an investment on the US stock market. So nothing like lower tariffs and nothing like an AI company that is essentially a Google, which is doing awesome in the US. This is the Chinese Google. The stock is Baidu. Let's jump into a little breakdown.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
So here's a little bit about the trade deal, okay? China's terminating investigations into supply chain in the US, and it gets some pressure off NVIDIA. And Alibaba, as well as Baidu, have been using their own internally chips to train AI models, but they had been using a lot of NVIDIA chips. So here's the deal, okay? Baidu is the Chinese Google, okay? They are releasing earnings in a couple weeks. They had earnings for Q2, which we can look at right here, so we're not totally flying blind here. This is the earnings day we're talking about, and this is why Q2 was so crazy, because this move is nuts, 60% up. Bound to have some profit taking, but looking pretty strong here. And this earnings is far enough away that you can get in here, in my opinion, look for a 10% pop, and then be able to hold into earnings. Whereas if you don't have a cushion into earnings, you definitely don't want to hold any. And with that 10%, you want to sell out, half or maybe 2/3 of your position as well, just to temper that statement. So now is good for Baidu, though, in my opinion. AI cloud revenue growing almost 30% year over year in Q2, which I think is the biggest piece of that move. If we look at AWS revenue growing 30% year over year, that seems to be the story for why Amazon is having a jump right now and holding up as well. So that cloud revenue segment is super profitable and also super important to develop your own chips if you want even more margin. Of course, if they can get a bunch of NVIDIA chips through some sort of deal, that would also help Baidu, as well as NVIDIA and US-China tensions. So as long as China and US get along, this stock is investable, right? This is important because even as the US stock market sells off, look at the Chinese index, yin. It's basically holding up. I mean, a little sell-off here, but it's not following the same. You can see in the background this overlay up and down. It started to go sideways way before the SPY went sideways. This is like a full week ago, right? Halloween. So SPY on Halloween was up here. Now, if we look at some other Chinese stocks, Futu, Tiger, holding in there, but the ones that are really doing the best are Alibaba, which followed a similar characteristic to Baidu, and Baidu. So here's the risk level, maybe somewhere down in here. This would be a super aggressive one to hold it all the way down there. Really, I think if you can risk a couple percent, then that's reasonable, depending on if it gaps up or gaps down. If you can just find, sometimes it's easier actually to see on the intradaily, find some level, like if you want to risk off of this and it gaps up above that, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's down here. Maybe you're risking yesterday's low. It's just a level that is a percent or two, definitely not more than that, in my opinion. where you can hop in this and get a little push up to earnings. So that's like the super technical gobbledygook on how to get a position, and then a little bit more about what they're up to. The more they focus on providing AI products to cloud customers, the more they become a picks and shovels, like an NVIDIA type company, like an AWS type company. So Alibaba has the misfortune of, being an e-commerce company. So they're really affected by tariffs. But fortunately, Baidu does not. So that's personally the play for Baidu that makes it a little safer. In my opinion, this is the name of their new AI chip. And this is the worry. The SEC to delist 25 Chinese companies, including Baidu. This is kind of a far cry, right? If the SEC can't even delist like these little Chinese scam companies like XXII, which has just diluted its shareholders into oblivion, it seems suspect that they would actually delist Baidu. So I'm talking about this a lot because I know it's a lingering question whether you can invest in Chinese companies, whether that's a good idea. And, the rare earth stuff was a perfect example of that. U.S. rare earth companies became super valuable as soon as there was that talk. But right now, tensions are low. Baidu looks good. Earnings has not immediately happened. They're not super tariff dependent because they're not an e-commerce company. So that's the ticker, BIDU. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. I'll post that in a post once a month. And if you want one-on-one help, head over to stockscommunity.com. You can join the Discord, and I'll see you there on Monday.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
All right. What else is Chris saying?
I just
got
want
for
to
us?
put this on you guys. If this reach you, just know God is trying to get your attention. Let me know if I got any prayer warriors, first and foremost, because y'all need to keep Coach lifted up in prayer. But secondly, let me know, have you been feeling any kind of pull, any kind of gravitational pull on your life that may be a sign that God is trying to get your attention? Let me know. Okay, let me know, have you been ignoring the signs? Let me know if, for example, let me know if you should have been back attending in-person worship, but you still attending Bedside Baptist. Let me know if you should be fellowshipping with the saints, but you still going to bingo, or you doing X, Y, and Z. Let me know if you should have been started your prayer life back up, got heavier into it, but you still hit or miss with it. Let me know if you should be going to midweek Bible service, but you still saying, it's too cold, it's getting dark too early, it's raining, it's snowing, and you come up with something. Let me know if you've been there, because I hope I ain't the only one. Okay, but sometimes those are the signs. You might be driving home from work and you might hear something might be dropped in your spirit. You might get woke up out your sleep. These are all signs that he's trying to get your attention, and we have to listen, be obedient to the signs that we are hearing. Okay, and so listen, man, it's deeper than stocks when you're around here. Okay, I ain't gonna preach to you and do too much, but I need you to know the calling that's on my life. I need you to know the calling that's on your life. So
Okay. Let's talk about gold. GLD. Again, if you're on YouTube, I can see comments over there. This one stock can change early buyers' lives. This is not financial advice, but my research suggests you would do well to buy as much as possible before November 12th. The stock I'm talking about is GLD. So there's different ways to buy gold. I think this ETF, GLD, is a clear-cut way to do it. There's a lot of uncertainty as to if gold is a safe haven, if it's not. Of course, every boomer says it is, and everyone who made money with Bitcoin says Bitcoin is the new gold. Let's talk about different periods when gold was a safe haven, some periods where it actually was not, so we can decide, you can decide, if it in fact is a good idea to buy right now. This is not financial advice. Here we go.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
So here's a little info about gold right now. It's near record highs. We'll talk about some different times when it did well. But this is what it looks like on a chart. Like the chart, a picture is a million words or whatever the story is. Look at how this thing went sideways, blew up, and then came back a little bit. This is where, all these people, magazines, etc. are saying like, buy gold, buy gold. Gold is going up a lot. It's like, well, this is when you want to buy gold, right? But there's a second chance opportunity. Gold has started to stabilize. Buying it here was not a good idea, right? They took another leg down, but now it's gone sideways for 2 weeks now, pretty much, a little before Halloween. 10 days. So pretty interesting opportunity here. Another way to look at it is through this gold miner KGC. And of course, they've had good earnings. This earnings was good too. NEM, AEM. So as these hold up, I think gold is the simplest way to look at what we're talking about here. You have a lot of tight days. You can buy. You don't have the risk of like, oh, I'm buying a biotech. I hope the FDA doesn't come out and say their trial needed a control group, like what happened with QURE and then it dropped a bunch. I hope, whatever, Novo Nordisk doesn't, decide they don't want us representing their brand. Boom, drop on HIMS. And then, you don't have to worry about some earnings overhang like AMSC going from, what is this, 30% down or something crazy? 39% down, something like that. It's gold, right? It's like a future, it is actually a future, but you don't have to buy the future. You can look at silver as well, it's very similar. I think there's other ones as well, palladium, that maybe are a little bit more volatile. I'm not going to go into mercury or whatever this is, copper. It's not mercury. So this is the ticker that I think is the simplest way to look at gold right now. I don't trade futures. That's why I'm a little, negative on all those different variants of ways to trade safe havens. Gold, I think, is the best way to trade a safe haven. So why don't we talk a little bit about, I think this is important, is it actually a safe haven? Because there's been endless sort of conversation about that. And I think the best way is just to literally look at the chart. I mean, BTC, Bitcoin is not a safe haven right now, right? I mean, Bitcoin is falling as the market is falling. Meanwhile, as the market is falling, gold is starting to stabilize. So it obviously looks like a safe haven right now. But if we pull out to a 30-year chart, or that's crazy, maybe a 20-year chart. So 20 years is a little after 2001, right? So definitely had a move up in 2008, right? So definitely a safe haven during the Great Recession. And then interestingly, in COVID times, not really totally the same deal, right? I mean, I guess it did actually go up in COVID times. What am I talking about? certainly looks like it went up as a safe haven in COVID times. This is a quarterly chart, so this is COVID right here. In the last part of COVID, so 2020, we can debate as to when COVID was exactly. It seems like forever ago, but I think the vaccine rollout was like late 2020, right? So actually, it did kind of go sideways, even as it seemed like, this thing just got COVID was even scarier, right? So this is kind of what people talk about, I think, when they say gold was not a safe haven during COVID. It's like, it just went sideways. It didn't keep going up. I mean, we can look at Bitcoin as well during that time. But 2020 for Bitcoin was euphoric in the first quarter. All 2020 was euphoric. And then the second quarter went down. So we can compare that over here in 2020. I know it seems like forever ago to talk about 2020, but here was the first quarter. Yeah, so gold actually went down a little bit for Bitcoin, but pretty similar, honestly. I think this safe haven time here is the most obvious. People bought gold during the Great Recession. And then as for some other recent times, just to make sure we understand what the heck we're talking about. So here's COVID times. This is what Anthropic's saying anyway, which is coming from Seeking Alpha. Gold did not consistently provide a hedge in 2020 because the market recovered, so people didn't use gold. All right, so maybe that's a terrible example, actually. Given, the market, we printed a bunch of money, so that could be an angle as well. Somebody who knows a lot about this is going to chime in, I'm sure, in the comments and just absolutely roast me. But hopefully it's in a good way. I don't think Bitcoin is a good safe haven right now. And I think a lot of people are really worried about Bitcoin. So I can definitely talk about right now with some certainty because we just saw, and this is crazy actually, this was the liquidation day on Bitcoin, right? The day of the Trump-Xi tensions. So pretty gnarly, but not crazy. I mean, if we look at, they weren't buying Bitcoin. The people who got liquidated on Bitcoin were not buying IBIT. I mean, they were buying actual Bitcoin, like perpetual futures or whatever on exchanges. So this thing went, it's down, like it's definitely down 4% or maybe 5%, depending on how you measure it. But it's not a crazy day. Like if we look over here or wherever, over, this day is bad, but it's just, recently we've gone down even more than that. It's taken longer, but it just seems insane that this caused so many liquidations and so many people to get out of Bitcoin. So I'm going to stop jabbering, but the point is Bitcoin's not a safe haven right now. Gold is a safe haven. Even if these speculators come back in to buy Bitcoin, they're probably just going to sell because they have PTSD from it dropping so much. So I don't think it's worth buying right now. Gold's the idea, GLD. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. I'll try to make them a little more cogent. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, subscribe and I'll put that in the YouTube post. And if you want one-on-one help, not super scatterbrained like this, but we did verify that actually Bitcoin and gold both were sort of equally safe havens or not during COVID. So can't trust Anthropic, Claude, ChatGPT with everything. You have to actually look at the chart. Head over to stockscommunity.com and we can help you with your portfolio. We being me and whoever else wants to chime in. All right, see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
All right. What else is Chris saying got for us?
So
Global
when we
Gaming
brought
on
this thing
YouTube.
out together, you know what time it is, okay?
I agree.
So with that being said, man, listen, Be ready to make some money.
Bitcoin is just too volatile to be a safe
First
haven.
thing in the morning, we are busting heads and taking names, point blank, period. Okay. That's number one. And that's always first and foremost, because if I can teach you how to fish, then you can go out and show somebody else how to fish. And if I can teach you how to fish, you can eat for a lifetime. Okay. And so with that being said, man, I want you to know, guys, this information has been withheld, has been suppressed from you for all these years. But what I want you to know is that it's a new day. Coach is here. I don't withhold. I'm not no gatekeeper. I'm not no insecure guy. I'm not no jealous guy. I'm not no envy guy. I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to give you the game because I'm certain if I can learn it, I ain't nothing special about me. And it ain't nothing that I'm learning that you can't learn, okay? So let me know, did your guys see Tesla today? Did y'all see Tesla go crazy? I want you to know that I absolutely got busy with Tesla. I absolutely got busy with Irene, ticker symbol IREN. I absolutely got busy with Rigetti. Let me know, did you see Meta? Did you see everything that went crazy in the market today, guys? Is just a sign that better days is on the way. Don't let this government shutdown get your spirit down. Don't let these layoffs and all of these job cuts get your spirit down. I try to show up and show you every day, guys, there's another way. We can make money like this. You can follow my plays. You can.
OpenAI is going to run its workloads on AWS, including hundreds of thousands of chips. Okay. All right. Here we go. There is one stock that is about to skyrocket. This company just posted 20% growth in cloud, which is a huge growth number in a huge growing segment. They also have a deal with OpenAI. OpenAI is going to run hundreds of thousands of workloads on their Amazon WS web services servers. The company is Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN. I think I've got a taste of the Fridays, but let's jump into the chart. This is not financial advice.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
So here's the case with Amazon. Grew 20% year over year to over 30 billion AWS. Management said ton of demand for AI and infrastructure. I don't know if this is a lot. I mean, it certainly sounds like a lot. 4 gigawatts. That's crazy. So I guess they measure their cloud compute in power required to run it. Someone's going to have to fact check me on that, but that's a lot. And AWS remains the higher margin growth engine. So that just underscores why this was such a big deal for Q3. People laughed at Amazon Web Services, and then suddenly, it's the highest margin part of Amazon. So it makes sense, shipping stuff around the world really sucks, but doing software related stuff is high margin. Now, as far as growth across other segments, North America retail sales up 10%, international sales up a little more than 10%, and their advertising business helped lift margins, I guess, as well. So that's a little murky as to how much that exactly contributed. But, of course, they're always contributing to making our lives better, right? Same day, last mile delivery, using AI in their warehouses, of course, but also in their website, everything. They're also having their own chip, similar to like the Google TPU and Baidu as well. I just talked about developing their own chip. So using it for AI training and inference. The inference chips are more likely to disrupt NVIDIA, or at least more interoperable. So they might have an edge there. They could end up selling that chip. But let's get out of our, futurist heads here and look at the actual chart here. They're over this high from August of 2025 this year. And if we look on a 5-year chart, we're pretty much in all-time high blue sky territory, all-time, of course. But notably, yeah, this level is like super, super important, 240. So holding there, and even holding, like, look at NVIDIA, guys. Sold off a ton all the way back to this level. AMD, not the best earnings reaction, right? I mean, it's still holding up after this OpenAI deal boosted it up. Intel, not the prettiest earnings reaction so far. So it's really just Google and Amazon in terms of holding up on these earnings reactions in the Mag 7. I mean, Tesla did as well, but it's been choppy as heck. And after these last couple of days in the SPY, we're all the way back to where we were. So Microsoft is terrible. Meta, even worse. And I'm totally not giving Apple credit. Apple's definitely holding up as well. But the earnings reaction has not been great. It's more like Apple is just doing well in general into all-time highs as well. So Amazon, though, interestingly, notably, was choppy for a while. This stock did not look good. So this is a serious change of character. Maybe someone knew something into earnings or who knows what. But with this reaction out, now we're above all-time highs. We're above that 240 whole dollar number, which it defended yesterday today, as the market really sold off and rebounded. I mean, this was crazy. Crazy rebound. This is like 1% in half a day is a lot for the entire market. There have been days like that, of course. The Trump Chi Day was pretty gnarly as well. But just goes to show Amazon is holding strong. So that's the level. That's a little bit about their recent earnings. And then as far as guidance, their net sales beat estimates, but they issued relatively strong guidance for Q4. So that's a big deal too. It's easy to take a look at the earnings per share, because a lot of these charts, it just shows it right there. It's like, oh, it beat, the stock's going to go up. And then you look at some other companies that reported earnings, and it's like, oh, it beat the stock, but the stock went down. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, because it's not just about the earnings, it's about the sales as well. So you could sell a bunch, right, and then actually not sell as much as last year, or not sell as much as you expect, and still earn more than last year, and still earn more than you expect, and the guidance could not be good even though the earnings is great. So all of these factors lead to a variety of earnings moves, which is why I just assume I'm an idiot, basically. And you wait for the candle to close. Right here is the close, right around 244, whatever that is. And if you look sideways, we're pretty much holding that level exactly. So this is the way to do it. I've talked about GM as an example this quarter. It's just holding that level. So that's the place to buy it, right? You can't buy it up here, but you definitely could have back there. Another one has been Carpenter. Same situation. Closed, held. So Amazon definitely demonstrating that to a T so far. Now, as far as, other information about essentially this quarter, we'll see what happens, but free cash flow dropped to 15 billion. That's down a lot. They're spending a lot. They're spending less than Meta. It's not a huge deal. It could be a huge deal. Little side note as I close up this video. I mean, I think all you need to know about this idea for Amazon, but ChatGPT has been awesome. If you're trying to do financial questions, I've been using Claude, and Claude was great too. It did have earnings for a company that ChatGPT did not, which happened a couple days ago. But Claude also, it's just better for writing. It's just a little snarky and you know, a little controversial, and it kind of pulls things from like Seeking Alpha. It's just that are written by bozos. And so ChatGPT's got to be the way to go. So if you like these videos, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. I'll post that in the post once a month for all subscribers. If you want one-on-one help and you want to see some testimonials of two of our superstars, I think they made about 6,500 and well, the other guy said he made 10 grand. So you can check those out at stockscommunity.com. I don't guarantee that you're going to make those amounts of money at all. I'm just saying that's the success they experienced. This is not financial advice, but I hope it helps.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
All right, let's jump back into a little Chris Sane here.
Listen to my daily videos, my daily messages, and I can guarantee you're going to make some money. And then, guys, this last thing, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Then we blew Tesla out the water. You absolutely right, family. Then when I teach and show you guys how to make money when stocks go down, nobody not gonna be able to stop you, because now we gonna crush days like today when the market go crazy. Okay, did y'all see Tesla? Did you guys see Irene? Did you guys see all the stocks going crazy today? We gonna always get busy on those days. But if I can get you guys to understand how to do the same exact thing on the days that the market go down, they ain't gonna be able to stop you. They ain't gonna bet Wall Street gonna be a problem, okay? And you're gonna be saying to yourself, oh my God, I got it figured out. If this job don't work out, if my supervisor keep hating on my promotion, if these coworkers don't quit snitching on me, all that stuff, you're gonna be able to say, you know what? I can go get it out the market. I can go get it.
All right, let's jump into a little breakdown here. I want to make sure Google, this piece of Google info is noted. That's crazy to say, right? No drop in traffic. Okay. There is one stock that is about to skyrocket. The company for the first quarter ever had $100 billion in quarterly revenue. Notably, they have said that LLMs, read ChatGPT, is not causing a decline in search traffic. Any reasonable person would obviously raise their eyebrows at that. So let's jump into what they're exactly saying, if it holds water, and that $100 billion revenue number, because that's not fakeable. This is not financial advice, but I think Google is a good buy right now.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
So here's a little bit about their statement, but before we jump into that, here's the context, right? Google, like Amazon, holding up on earnings even as the market sells off like 10 days in a row. And, you know, we're seeing Meta get hit. Well, they had this tax recognition fine situation thing. And then Tesla's chopping around. Apple's at all-time highs. What other stocks are in the Mag 7? Microsoft. I can't count. Big drop there. And then as far as other just massive companies, we can take a look here. market cap and just sort by market cap, because I think that's just such a stark, that's word for strong, right? Picture of what the market is doing right now. So Nvidia crushed, Google holding up, right? Amazon holding up, but Broadcom pulling back, Taiwan Semi pulling back. Banks are doing well, JPM up, Tesla chopping around a lot, right? Eli Lilly holding after earnings, but I'm not sure there's a really place to get into it after it's gone up 6 days in a row, right? Oracle selling off more. They are definitely getting hit by the market, and Palantir getting hit by that as well after their earnings. So big companies getting hit. So it is notable when you see one that is holding up. So Google, take your pick, Alphabet, GOOGL, is holding up. There's a clear risk level, 280. And on a 5-year, of course, there's nothing but blue skies. This company has gone up for a long time and continues to do so. So we don't have to look at too detailed, but that's the level, that's the earnings. You can basically risk off of this close, 284, which I think makes the most sense. I've described that in other videos. You wait for the thing to close and then you risk that level, 283. You don't buy right after earnings because then sometimes it dumps. Sometimes, and this is another recent phenomenon, sometimes you're going to get major FOMO. So this is QURE. This is not exactly earnings at all. This is not earnings at all. But if we look at this company on let's kind of find some time scale that makes sense here, 4-hour chart. If you see this thing going up and you're like, oh man, everyone's buying it, I'm going to wait for the candle to close. So you wait for the candle to close, fine. If you do wait for the candle to close, it's at $50, right? $50. And even at $50, it doesn't go above that level. Look at that. It holds right here. And you do get a 25% move. Now I'm purposely using one that also absolutely got crushed. Just to show basically you have to sell out, right? If it goes up 10%, you need to sell half your position. But the reason I was using this initially is that this is an example of severe FOMO. So everyone was talking about, I got to get in this, I got to get in this, I got to get in this. And on a broad level, you don't have to get in it at all, right? Because something like this can happen. But if you do get in it, get in risking a close, sell half your position when it goes up, because it can still go up more even when it seems like it just went up a crazy amount. This was not predictable. This was a trial data release. So that's a really garbled way to explain why you want to wait for a stock to close. Here's another one way to explain it. Well, here's an even better one. Let's look at Meta, maybe from last quarter. Like, you don't buy it up here, you wait for it to close, which is somewhere down here or somewhere down here. Okay? All right, enough talking about really bad examples. This is the stock, Google. This is the level right here or right here. Actually, pretty similar to Meta. One of these days. Buy off here. And if it goes below that, sell. Super simple. What are these guys up to? Well, here's the controversy, right? They've stated that AI overviews, which, we've all seen those, right? Who is Tom Cruise, right? And sometimes they'll do stories, but I guess if it's something actually, I did dating. If it's something actually sort of, interesting, whatever, they'll do a little description like this, which is an AI overview. Okay, so they're saying that that's changing user behavior. They're continuing to send billions of clicks to websites, and they've not seen dramatic drops in aggregate web traffic as some publishers claim. Now, that sounds pretty surprising, right? The Guardian says AI summaries cause devastating drops in audiences, online news media told. So it sounds like Google is saying the exact opposite. It sounds like their PR team is on overdrive. And they're also saying that basically their LLMs are well, they do. They use Gemini as an LLM, but I think that they're saying that LLMs are not crawling their links. So their revenue, this is just a double check, their Q3 revenue from blue links is the same. Hasn't gone down, right? I think this is their chief assertion. So it's fine for them to just talk trash to other publishers and say, actually, we're helping you. But yeah, this is the crazy part. Yes, based on the latest earnings from Alphabet, they're reporting $56 billion, up from $50 billion from the search advertising, which includes the Google search ads. So that's the crazy part. I don't know how they made that happen, but it appears to have grown. So as long as that continues to be the case, this LLM thing is not going to be a big deal. But there could be a big deal if any sort of uncertainty comes out or any sort of honesty comes out of their PR team. So this is a maybe 1 month trade, and definitely sell if it goes down at all. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. I'll post that in the post once a month. And if you want one-on-one help and the best idea of the day, in my opinion, head on over to stockscommunity.com. You can join the Discord, and I will see you there on Monday.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.